1992, the decision was taken to turn the Tolbooth into the museum. It was felt by the museum service that it was really important to tell the story of such a historically important building. The building of the original Tolbooth began in 1616, so the building is just over 400 years old. It was used as a prison for around 200 years until the east and west prisons were built in the early 1800s, and then in between it was used as a storage area. The Tales from the Tolbooth tells the story of the Tolbooth through the eyes of some of its earliest inhabitants. In the exhibition we explore the lives of the people who were connected to the Tolbooth in the past. So on display we have the actual archival text that relates to the 5 people whose stories are in the exhibition. I think one of the most interesting things about the museum is when you think of how many people would have been held here. So for example, during the Jacobite Rebellion there were as many as 96 people in the Tolbooth. And one of the most interesting items that I find in the Tolbooth Museum is the Scold's Bridle. The Scold's Bridle is a metal bridle, and it was placed on a woman's head as a punishment for malicious gossip. I think that local people are really interested in their cultural heritage. I think you can see this through the visitor figures that we have for the Tolbooth Museum and the Maritime Museum. And many of these are local visitors, many of these are repeat visitors. And the success of recent events such as the Spectre Festival, I think shows that people really have an interest in their cultural heritage at the moment. I think although the Tolbooth Museum is fairly small, it's a really interesting building, and I think that each time you come you always spot different things to look at.